Welcome back. Now, a growing number of Gen Zers are refusing to mature and accept the significant turning points in life that lead to adulthood. The International Labour Organization reports that approximately 25% of individuals globally between the ages of 15 and 24 are Neets. What are Neets? Not in employment, education or training. I had to Google that one. This is raising the already historically high rates of youth unemployment worldwide. Siba Nobandla from Youth Capital joins us now to discuss and unpack this. Good evening to you. Thank you very much for making time to chat to us here on eNCA. We are at the tail end of Youth Month, but I'll still say a happy Youth Month to you. Let's perhaps start by talking about what this month signifies for you.
So Youth Month to me, it signifies a time where young people were working together for a cause and were united together to fight for specific rights, specifically related to education, which is something that young people are still fighting for today. So that's what Youth Month is. Youth Month to me is youth coming together and being in action.
Now, with that said, I was surprised to read this article that suggests that Gen Zers are increasingly becoming not in employment, education or training. We do know that in South Africa, unemployment is a huge issue. Skills development is an issue as well. But are you finding that young people are choosing not to be in employment, education or training voluntarily?
I think that it's also much a choice, but a situation that young people find themselves in. We know that in South Africa, we live in a very unequal society with a lot of systemic challenges that young people face. Young people live very far from economic opportunities. Young people find it very hard to find training opportunities. Education is one thing, with fees must fall and everything. Young people cannot afford to go to school, get that training, get the qualification that they need to obtain those jobs. Apart from that, there's things like the cost of transport, for example. A lot of young people live in poor areas and have entire households that are sustained by one income. And often when it comes to finding a job, that takes money, that takes a lot of resources as well out of the family for you to go and find a job that you more often than not as a young person receive rejection after rejection. And when we look into what young people are saying as well, young people are saying that when they apply for jobs and they are applying for jobs, often it is a situation where they are either not qualified for entry-level positions, which they have degrees and qualifications for. The one thing that's excluding them for being qualified is experience. But where do young people get that experience and training? The government is supposed to step in and provide that experience and training. The private sector is supposed to step in and provide that training and those opportunities for young people. But instead, we have articles like this today or we have situations like this today where people look into Gen Z and think that young people are not opting to partake in an economy when they are prohibited from partaking in an economy.
What is your response then to articles like this that are suggesting that Gen Zers are just not interested at all?
I think that my response to this is actually talking and engaging with young people and finding out what exactly the core problem is, the root of the problem is. As per my experiences of the young people that are around me, as for myself, for example, I know a lot of young people that are active, that are working, that are pushing, that are entrepreneurs, that are exploring the arts, that are studying, that are in school, that are just trying to live in today's society, in a very unequal society, in a society that is built not for them. I know a lot of young people that are very opinionated about these things and can give very much a lot of insight as to why they are not partaking in the economy. And that in itself is something that's lacking from the grander conversation right now. People are not talking to young people, politicians are not talking to young people. And I think that is the problem in today's society. Young people are not being listened to. Young people are not being heard. Their voices are they're being spoken for, but not to.
When you chat to your peers and your friends, are you finding that less and less of them are interested in climbing the corporate ladder or being part of what is titled the rat race? Are younger people more interested in finding alternatives to the usual 9 to 5?
I think that compared to previous generations, we often had core jobs like nursing, teaching. Young people only were exposed to those jobs. And I think with the internet, with globalization and the conversations that happen online, young people are being exposed to more jobs and more opportunities, and are being exposed to grander thought that it opens up their mind to things that are not these traditional core jobs. And I think that it's important for young people to do that, to explore things outside of climbing the corporate ladder. And often we have to ask ourselves as well, we have unemployment in this country. Are young people able, those who want to climb the corporate ladder, are they able to climb the corporate ladder? Do they have those opportunities to climb the corporate ladder? And we find that young people in this country often very much do not have the opportunity to climb the corporate ladder if they so ever choose to.
Reading through this article, it also suggested that Gen Zers find that buying a home of their own still feels like a completely impossible task. And this is perhaps the reason why we aren't seeing young people purchase homes. We do know that this once again ties into issues of unemployment. But what are your responses then to the article that suggests that for Gen Z, owning your own home just seems completely out of reach?
I think the key thing here is economic growth, right? We have a stagnant economy, but the housing market, there's a housing crisis surrounding us. Young people are earning the same salaries that they earned 10 years ago, but housing is becoming more and more expensive. Owning a home is becoming more and more expensive. And I think that young people are looking at the resources that they have in front of them and realizing that it's not an actual goal that they can achieve, because again, it's our salaries are stagnant, our wages are stagnant, our employment opportunities are stagnant. We're not creating more jobs as a country. There's not more for young people to do. And so I think when you live in a society like that, it's often you will often think about feeding yourself first. That's something that you can achieve tomorrow, than thinking about something that you can't achieve, like buying a house when the housing prices are hectic.
Indeed. Thank you very much for your time and for sharing your opinions as a young person. We do appreciate your time and your insights. That was Siba Nobandla. He's the multimedia content creator at Youth Capital, just chatting to us about this article that's suggesting that a large number of Gen Zers are choosing to be Neets, and that is not in employment, education or training. But Siba suggesting that perhaps in South Africa it's a different story and it's not so much of a choice because of our high unemployment rates and the other issues that young people are facing in our country. But